Well, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I am the Custom Prophet and we're back here for another first look video. This time we are not looking at a game that was recently released or one that's about to be released. We're looking at one which is a couple of years old, and this is AirportSim from MS Games. Demo is available for this and you can get it cheap on Steam at the minute. Reason I'm looking at this particular game is because this style of game is one that I really enjoy. We've done a little bit of Tower 3D on the channel. We looked at Sky Haven, an airport simulator game, but this one is a little bit different, and had a lot of people saying that this could be something quite spectacular. Unfortunately, it didn't live up to the to these high expectations. Anyway, let's have a look what they say about it on Steam. AirportSim is an advanced airport ground handling simulator with true-to-life visuals and operations. Licensed planes and vehicles, real airports and live weather conditions. Enjoy the many tasks alone or with friends, making this experience unforgettable. So, we are ground handlers in this game. In the demo, there's a fairly limited amount that you can do, but there's a whole bunch of things that you can do in the full game. So, for example, fueling, luggage handling, driving around on the jetway, catering, baggage manoeuvring, securing the aircraft, all sorts of things. They also have a couple of DLCs with various real-life airports that you can buy. They've got Bologna, which is available for $5, and Rovaniemi, which I think is in Finland, airport, which is a free DLC, as well as a few airports in the base game as well. So there's lots potentially here, and it is in an area where I've not really seen anyone doing this. Ground handler simulation is something new. So what I want to do is have a little look at one of the tutorials, and then we'll do a little bit of gameplay just to give you an idea of what this is all about. Looks good, doesn't it? So we are just going to go here to the GPU.
Now I'll teach you how to operate a ground power unit, which is known as GPU in aviation jargon. You're probably wondering, what exactly does the GPU do? Besides what its name gives away, let me explain that to you. After landing, the aircraft generates electricity from the engines. But as you may have noticed, the aircraft shuts down its engines faster than we can connect and start the GPU. Shortly after landing, the crew start the auxiliary power unit, or APU for short, which will generate electricity for the aircraft until we, the ground handling crew, connect the GPU to the aircraft, which will power the aircraft more efficiently and at a lower fuel price. During this time, the cockpit crew and ground handling can perform their assigned tasks without a cut in power to the aircraft. Okay, now you need to use the tug parked in the marked area and transport the GPU to the position next to the aircraft.
Right, there we go.
There's already an aircraft parked there, which is scheduled to depart soon. This will give us a chance to show you the complete process of connecting and disconnecting the GPU.
Okay.
Before you start, you need to connect the GPU to the tow hook of the tug so that you can transport it. It's quite simple. You need to back up the tug so that the hook is close to coupling with the GPU. Then get out of the tug, approach the rear and follow the action displayed on the screen to couple them together.
Okay, well, I like the stuff there with it being somewhat, let's get like sounding like we're on the radio. There's the airplane we're going to. We're in the tug here, and the GPU that we were talking about is that thing just behind us. So we're going to switch on the engine. And then we'll head back here. And we will get out. There we go. That's not close enough. There we go.
Great. Just remember that you hook and unhook other trailers in the same way. Hop back in the tug and head over to the aircraft as indicated.
Okay, here we go. We're going to just drive this over here to the aircraft. I mean, it looks really nice,
Now,
doesn't it?
detach the GPU from the tug and go to the rear side of it, where you'll need to open the hatch revealing the control panel.
Right, we're going to come out. We're going to detach this. And then we've got the control panel, which we're going to
Now
open.
I'll show you the generator startup sequence. You'll operate it using the controls displayed on the screen as we go. Toggle the power on button. This will activate the generator battery.
Okay.
Now you'll need to hold down the engine start button for approximately 3 seconds until the engine starts. Now we have to wait 30 seconds until the engine heats up and the oil temperature reaches 80 degrees Celsius. In the meantime, go to the nose of the aircraft and open the hatch where the connector is located.
Okay, this is our hatch here.
Great. Now on the side of the GPU, there's a slot containing a cable.
Here we go.
You need to pick up the cable and plug it into the aircraft's power socket. To pick up the cable, follow the action displayed on screen. Connect the cable to the aircraft's power socket.
There we go.
Perfect. Now go back to the panel and switch the engine setting knob from idle to run. Then press the DC output button to the on position.
I think the thing is, you've got to remember all of this, and unfortunately one of the real downsides of this game is you cannot access the tutorial, as far as I can see, whilst you're actually playing. So if you've forgotten any of this, there's no information and no way of getting this information. You've got to remember it all.
Now notify the cockpit crew through the communication panel that they can turn off the APU and switch to GPU power. Open this panel using the controls displayed on screen.
So I'm going to use one to open.
Navigate to the flight deck option, then APU, and then turn off the APU.
There we go.
Great! Now the aircraft is powered only by the GPU, and the rest of the ground crew and the aircraft crew can continue with their work.
Excellent.
Now it's time to teach you how to disconnect an aircraft's ground power prior to departure.
Okay, let's do it.
Obviously, we can't just unplug the cable and leave the crew without power. When you finish all your other tasks and it's time to disconnect the GPU, you'll need to inform the crew that they can start the APU. We'll teach you how to do that on this aircraft. Head over to the indicated area. Approach the aircraft from the side where the GPU is parked.
Well, I was there already, but, you know, there we go.
Your task now is to notify the cockpit crew that they may start the APU. To do this, open the communication panel using the controls
APU.
displayed on screen.
Turn on
Select
APU.
flight
There we go.
deck, APU, and start APU. Great, the crew has just started the APU. Go to the back of the aircraft, specifically under its tail, and listen to the APU startup sequence. If you want to, remove your protective headphones using the displayed button. To check the startup progress, open the tablet and select the aircraft you're currently at. In the task table, you'll find information about the startup progress.
Yep, so tab, we can go, this is the airport we're at, and we can see here we're waiting for the APU to start, and we've got 81% there, so almost there. We can hear it sort of wibbling at the minute. it looks really good, doesn't it? And it's really true to life.
Is now fully operational. Now go to the panel and switch the DC output to off. Then turn the engine switch from run to idle. Finally, unplug the cable connected to the aircraft and place it back into the GPU.
There we go.
Great! Everything went according to plan. Now you need to return the GPU to the designated location at the parking ramp to complete the tutorial.
Right, we need to make sure we get in the right side, otherwise we can just sit in the passenger seat, which I think is when it is a two-player game, or multiple player game. So that is the tutorial for the GPU, and actually the demo is quite a short one. It just really gives you
You've just learned how
a plane
to
to start and a plane
after
to
arrival and before departure of an
get ready for
aircraft.
departure.
See you later.
So there we go. So that's where we are with the tutorials, and yeah, in the actual game it's much bigger than that. So there's a lot more that you can do, but they've designed the tutorials to be focused on what you can do in the actual demo part of the game. So you look at that, you think, actually that looks really good, really impressive. And I think that's why it actually won some awards, this game did, and I think it's because it looks so impressive. It did sort of go close to how things actually are. So let's have a look at this. So then you are kind of left on your own. We'll play a new game. So we've got this scenario. So take on the role of an airport ground handler. You'll be responsible for handling arriving aircraft and departing based on time, realistic schedules, although also when performing tasks you'll earn points, rewarding your commitment and precision of getting aircraft moving. So you can see there are a bunch of different airports that we can go to. I think there's just 4 here: Key West, Warsaw, Keflavik in Iceland presumably, and Vagar, which I think is in the Faroe Islands. It will give you a look into the gameplay of AirportSim. It's a limited into the mechanics available. So this is, where is this? It is in the Faroe Islands. So there we go. Let's go. So we're going to be doing some of the things that we were doing in that tutorial. It's quite involved, the process, the sequence to switch the GPU on and to switch it off and transfer over to the APU. Hopefully I can remember that process. So let's dive out there. We've got a couple of things to do. We've just got to keep our eye on stuff. So this is the airport, and this is what's happening. We have this flight coming in, which is landing at 9:15. This one here is leaving at 9:15. So we need to connect to the GPU. Looks like it's already connected to the GPU. So let's go and have a look. If it's not, then we will have to do that. So this is the GPU that we need. So this looks really similar to what we've just done. So I'm going to take this cart here, pick up one of these GPUs, and we'll take this over. And then we've got a plane that's coming in right at the minute. Let's see if we can remember how to do these things. You do get a little bit of information on what we need to do, but it is really limited. But you can see all the stuff that you've potentially got here. You've got baggage, you've got catering, all sorts of stuff. Has this actually got? I'm slightly concerned I've bought the wrong thing, but there we go. Okay, we are connected up. And so we'll bring this over here. And we're getting this plane ready to depart. So we'll just come alongside as we did last time. And we'll open oh no, we need to switch this on, don't we? So let's see if we can remember. Switch this on. Turn the power on. Then we need to hold that on until it's operating properly, which I think it is now. And we need to wait for that to get up to an appropriate voltage. And then we can then go put on engine run. Is that right? I think we're on idle there, so let's get that in there. And we need, what do we need to do? They will be on their ACU at the minute, ADU at the minute, or whatever the acronym is. So we'll pop that in there. And let's see if we've got any hints here. We are connecting the GPU at the minute. Let's now do that. I'll press that on, and now we're going to let them wait for the service to start at 8:45. So signal flight crew to start the APU. Let's do that. So we'll go into number 1. Where's the flight crew? Start the APU. Turn it on. That's going to take some time to happen. Wait for the APU to start. So we've got this one over here. This is just landed. We're going to put some chocks out and what have you here while we're waiting for that to switch on. So we need, yeah, I get you. We need, I think, 6 or so. Right, let's put these out. We just want this to be pretty good. This is our security cones. No one messes with our cones, folks. I think that's the APU having done its thing. Is it one more? We'll put the other things out, and then the chocks out. Just leave that one behind. And we'll do that, and then we'll put these out here. So oh no, there was room. We did need to put another one out. Chocks away, folks. Chocks away. We need one more of these. I think then we can, this is just to stop people getting sucked into the engine, which, you know, feels like quite a useful thing to do. And we'll go back over here while we're sorting this out. It's all down to us, folks, all down to us. So that's just arrived. Let's have a look what we're expected to do with this one now. Disconnect the GPU. Right, so as I remember, we need to then do that, and then we can undo that and put this back in here. And I think that's the GPU disconnected, so we now need to remove the cones and the bypass pin. So let's start with the cones, and then I think then it'll be ready to go. There we go. Yeah, you can Can we drop all of them? Release the cone stack with that. It's gone mad. It's gone mad. Right. We need to pick these up. I can't get underneath. Okay, and we'll drop those off, and then the pin we've got to do. I think it's here somewhere. If I'm, oh, there it is. Remove that pin. And then we're going to take this and we're going to go to the other side. And I think that is actually ready for takeoff if all things go to plan. So that sounded like something was happening there. I don't know whether we've got to do pushback on that or not. This one's a slightly different plane model. Right, let's just quickly have a look. Yeah, it looks like that one's done. Oh, we didn't put the bypass pin in, which is somewhere. There it is. Took some time, but you can hear that one is starting to do up its noises, make its noises. So this is it's on, and we just need to switch that off. So let's just have a look what we need to do here. So we need to connect the GPU, signal to the flight crew to stop. So it's a slightly stop the APU. Okay, so that's open. So we'll connect this. I thought he was going. Let's put that on DC output, so that switches it on. And that's connected. So now we need to stop the APU. We will do that with on the flight deck. APU, turn off the APU. That's good. And what next? Then we disconnect. Is this actually going? Oh, you can see it's flashing. How cool is this? Go on. Go on. Can we see the engine? Yeah, look at that. Go on, Captain. So we've done that one. I don't think... So why would we be unhooking the GPU now? Not entirely sure. Because we connect the GPU to stop that. Okay, so I guess this is just the end of what we're doing. So we're gonna do that, turn that off, and then disconnect that. Oh, and off he goes. And there we go. And that's just 11 minutes of fun and games. But I did want you to have a look at that. You can see kind of what how far we got. We managed to complete all the scenarios. Obviously, for the main game, it is a much longer thing. but you get a really good idea of what it's like. And obviously working in different airports with different types of scenarios, I think that does sound very, very, very cool. I think one of the things, if we go back to the scenario menu here, unfortunately we can only access a very limited amount of stuff within this, but you can see how much potential there is with this game. I think one of the big problems with it that people have found is that it's still very, very buggy. The developers are doing some updates, and as I say, there's been various things added to the game, including buses as well. They were looking to add more aircrafts, but I think there is a limited amount of aeroplane models. Yeah, so it seems like they're adding stuff, but they're not dealing with the bugs that pop up. And there's been all sorts of crazy bugs that I've heard about, including bugs around saving. So that's kind of one of the worst things, where you think you've saved and it doesn't save properly, or it corrupts. You get random crashes during the game. Not seen this myself, I have to say, if I'm being honest, but it's such a shame, because this does look, there is so much potential with this game in my mind. There really is. The stuff they could do with this, because it is kind of cool, and learning how to do these things would be awesome. And I can see doing a multiplayer type thing with both of you kind of like running the airport ground staff could be bloody awesome. That I think I would really enjoy. Anyway, I want you to let me know your thoughts. If you have picked up this game, the full version, I would love for you to let folks watching this know what it's like. Is it worth it? Do you get a little bit more? How buggy is it really? It's one of those things I'm not sure about. I've read the bad stuff, but I've also played through the demo and I enjoyed it. So I really don't know whether this is something that I would like to get in further and have a little look more, or not. But I'd love to get your thoughts on that, folks. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you come back for future first look videos. We've got a whole bunch of them lined up. I think the next ones will be upcoming games, or games that are have only just been released. But I will see you very soon. Goodbye.